Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel, Ara's Life on Budget. Ara here and welcome to a new video. Today is gonna be a slightly different video because you can see my face looking pretty rough because I'm still trying to recover from the trip. I tried putting on some makeup just to look a bit more presentable, but yeah, and I'm still trying to, come back to my senses and get back into my routine. As you know, I've been on a pretty big trip to Korea. I've been there for a couple of weeks, and yeah, we've been working together a lot to save for this trip and make sure that we had enough money to pay for it. If you follow me, then you know that I made a budget for this trip. I went through several categories and I made sure to have enough money for each one of them according to what I thought was gonna be, the amount that I was gonna need once I was there. Please don't mind the fact that I'm sitting on my unmade bed. Yeah, this is the only place where I had enough light, and also don't consider my sweater. This is the same one I was wearing before. I made another video, so yeah, I'm simply wearing the same thing. So this video, what is it gonna be? This video is gonna be about me going through my budget. I have everything written down here. This is a little booklet that I made myself. I bound the pages in a very simple way. I brought this one with me in Korea, and I tried to stay consistent with writing down everything, every single expense throughout all the entire trip. This is divided according to the categories that we went through together. I wasn't always good at keeping track, but I think I did a pretty good job at being precise with this one. I think there's only like 100-ish euros difference from this one to what I actually have left in my bank account, so I think I did a pretty good job. Only a couple of mistakes maybe, but anyway, so what we're gonna do today is we're gonna go through this and I'm gonna tell you about my budget, whether I stayed within the budget or whether I went over. I'm gonna give you maybe, I don't know, suggestions if you plan on going to Korea as well, if Korea is actually cheap or not, because they always say that Korea is super cheap. So I'm gonna tell you whether Korea is actually cheap or not, and at the end of the video I'm also gonna show you the things that I bought while in Korea and some of the souvenirs. Not all of them, because most of them I already gave away, but what I have left essentially. Okay, so that is gonna be the video. I hope you enjoy it. So without any further ado, please go ahead and enjoy the video. Alright, so guys, this is the booklet that I'm gonna use to tell you everything that I have spent. Now, I'm not gonna go through each single one of the expenses that I had, because as you can see, like, they are a lot. So of course it's useless, I think, for me to go through each single one of them. It will take too much time, and I don't think it would be useful for you. What I am gonna do though is I'm gonna give you my original budget for each one of my categories, and I'm gonna give you an average of what I have spent for each one of the categories. So the categories that I had in here were the same ones that you probably already saw in my binder if you follow my channel, because they are the same ones that I saved for throughout the past year essentially. In case you want to watch me stuffing my binder for the trip, I'm gonna leave you the video somewhere I don't know where, on the top of the screen, so you can just click and watch. My total budget, okay, my total budget for the trip was of 4,200 euros. That's a lot, I know, but 4,200 is considering the flight and the accommodation. If you take away the flight and the accommodation, I had a budget of 2,000 euros left But before leaving, I got a present from my father. He gifted me 200 more euros, so I actually had a budget of 2,200 euros when I left for Korea. All right, so for the flight I spent around 1,450 euros or something like that, but I paid the ticket both for me and for the person who was coming with me, which is my best friend. So I paid for both of us, so I think it was like 740 euros for one person, back and forth. Okay, so around 700-ish euros, so really cheap, I would say. For the accommodation as well, we spent a total of about 700-ish euros because we booked 5 different hotels plus a 6th one because there was something that happened, but I'm not gonna go into that right now. I'm probably gonna go into that later on. But yeah, for 5 hotels we spent around 700-ish euros, considering that we spent in each one of the hotels about 2 or 3 nights. So we had one in Seoul where we stayed 2 nights, and then we went to Gyeongju and we stayed 3 nights, I think, and then in Busan 3 nights, and then Jeju 3 nights, and then back to Seoul 2 nights. So that is how we divided everything, and the hotels were really good hotels. I think by average we spent 120-ish each hotel, I think. Yeah, pretty much. Now, when it comes to the other categories that I had in here and that I was keeping count of throughout the trip, we have food, transportation, adventures, shopping, and miscellaneous. Okay, of course by food I mean food and drink, so anything that has to do with eating and drinking, so not only restaurants but also cafes or snacks or just the market, whatever. It came out of here. Transportation, I mean anything going from the underground to taxis, trains, airplanes, ferries, whatever, it came out of here. Adventures, I mean anything that has to do with activities that we were gonna do throughout the trip, like museums or I don't know, any like wearing hanboks where we wore hanboks, or aquarium, you know, anything like that. It was coming out of adventures. Shopping is of course shopping, so anything that I bought, whether it was a souvenir or something for me, it came out of shopping, so that is that. And miscellaneous is anything that didn't really have any specific category that I still wanted to keep count of, like for example when I got my passport, I put it in miscellaneous because before leaving for this trip I didn't have a passport, so that is another expense that I had to take care of. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go through each one of the categories and I'm gonna give you the amount that I had total for each one of them, and I'm gonna tell you whether I stayed in a budget or not for each one of the categories. So let's start with food and drink. For this one, this is the one that I gave myself the most because I knew, or at least I thought, that I was gonna go to Korea and eat a lot. I knew that Korea is really not expensive when it comes to food, but at the same time I wanted to make sure that I had enough money to pay for food, you know, for 2 weeks essentially. So I wanted to make sure that I had enough, so I had given myself 800 euros just for food. Now, even when I made my original video, I knew that 800 euros was gonna be enough, was gonna be a lot, sorry, for food, but you know, you never really know, so I just wanted to make sure, so I gave myself 800 euros for that. And get ready, because what I spent in total, and consider that most of the time I was paying not only for me but for my friend as well, and I'm gonna tell you why in a second. I spent a total of 520 euros. So I stayed well within my budget. I could have given myself way less because I have 280 euros left from this category only. Consider that we ate out every single day, at least twice a day, if not 3 times a day sometimes. We really didn't care about a budget when we went out to eat, you know, we just ate whatever we wanted. But Korea is really cheap. Here I can see 18, 15, you know, that's the average that we spent each. So for 2 people it was around 30 euros. 40 is probably the highest that I have written down here. So as you can see, the average that we spent for each other, for each meal, was around 15-20 euros each. Then most of the times we also went to the 𝕔𝕠𝕗𝕗𝕖. 𝕔𝕠𝕗𝕗 is like a convenience store where you can go to get, of course, stuff to eat. And in Korea there's like this almost like a cultural thing, you know, it's a tradition that they have, that they go to the 𝕔이점 at night and they just eat there or have dinner there, you know, because in the 𝕔이점 you have the microwave, you have the dispenser for hot water, so you can go there, get whatever it is that you want to eat and just warm it up in the 𕕔이점 and eat it there. So we did it a couple of times, and even then it was around 44 euros, 3 euros, 2 euros, so really nothing much. And many times we also went to the cafes in Korea, which are very popular, and depending on how many items we got to eat, we spent anything from 2 euros up to 7 euros, 8 euros, so really not a lot. Moving on to the next category. The next category was transportation, and for transportation I had a budget of 500 euros, and that is because I knew that we were gonna move a lot within the country. We were gonna change cities, you know, and we were gonna go from Seoul all the way to Busan, which is like in the completely opposite place compared to Seoul. So I wanted to have enough to pay for trains and everything, and I was right, because the trains turned out to be the most expensive thing that we paid for. So out of the 500 euros I have spent, considering the trains as well, 356 euros, for a total of 144 euros left in the budget. So even here, as you can see, we are perfectly within the budget. So like I said, the most expensive were the trains. We got a first train from Seoul to Yeonju, which was 68 euros, and then another one from Yeonju to Busan. The distance between Yeonju and Busan is very small, so we only paid 15 euros for that one. And then another train from Busan back to Seoul, and we spent 72 euros for that one. To move around, we mainly used the underground in Seoul, which is very cheap, very convenient. If you're there, definitely get a T-money card, which I don't have here with me, but I'll get it so that I can show you. All right, so this is the T-money card. As you can see, it's just a card. It's almost like the Oyster card if you're in England, in London. It's pretty much the same thing. So it's a rechargeable card that you can use for transportation in Korea. So you can put any amount on it and you can use for anything, and that is why this card here is so good, because not only you can use it for the underground, you can use it on buses, but you can also use it on taxis. So you can pay with this one on taxis if you have enough money on it, of course. The only downside of this is that you have to recharge it by cash. So you have to find the little machines that they have in the underground station, and you have to charge the card with cash. What I love about this is that this one is pretty boring. We bought this at a 𝕔이점, so it's really boring, but they have so many different kinds, like with so many different designs. So this one is actually a very good souvenir as well, and it's not cheap and it's not expensive at all. I only paid like 7 euros I think for this one, so I had to get another one. Look how cute. This is so cute. When I saw it, I was like, okay, I need this one. So this is actually my souvenir. But yeah, this is a Timani card as well, as you can see. So you can find a design that you love the most, and not only you can use it to move around, but you can also keep it as a souvenir. So the Timani card, there's also a different one that people recommend a lot. I don't remember the name of the other card, which is really good. The only reason why we didn't go for that card specifically is because it works only within Seoul, and we wanted to go out of Seoul as well. So this one works in the whole country. The other one only works in Seoul, so keep that in mind when you choose your card. We took the underground a lot, and we paid with the Timani card, and I think I only recharged it a couple of times, probably for a total of 10 euros only, so really nothing. For everything else, we mainly took the taxi. Now, originally we were skeptical about using the taxi because, you know, we come from a country where taxis are crazy expensive. Oh no, I didn't notice that I had this. This is a spoiler for later on. Let me take it away. Pretend that you didn't see it. Anyway, so we come from a country that is known to be crazy expensive when it comes to taxis, so we tried not to take them because, you know, we were afraid the taxis were going to be crazy expensive. But if you're in Korea, definitely consider using the taxis moving around, especially if you have your luggage with you, because I tell you, like, taxis are incredibly cheap. They're so cheap. Like, we would be inside the taxi going on and on and on for hours, and we only ended up spending a maximum of 20 euros. Like, literally the highest that I have, no 25 is the highest that I have spent for a taxi. So really all the rest is like 15, 18, 14, 8, 6, 10. So really super convenient. So definitely, if you're in Korea, consider taking a taxi to move around, because yeah, it's crazy. And you know, when you're in a taxi, that is a great opportunity for you to, you know, have a little conversation with the taxi driver. Just remember that in Korea no one speaks English. Like, the chances of you finding a taxi driver that knows how to speak English are almost zero. Literally, we only found one that could speak English, and it was very difficult to understand him anyway. Everyone else just couldn't. I think of the 2 weeks that I was there, only 3 or 4 people could speak English. Everyone else just couldn't. So make sure that you know at least the basics of the language when you go there, because you're gonna need it. But yeah, you know, taking a taxi is a great opportunity to have a little conversation and, you know, connect with someone from there. And we had the best conversations, because Korean people at the very beginning, they tend to be very, you know, introvert and close, and they look at you in a weird way, especially if you look like me. They're gonna look at you in a very skeptical way. But then if you show them that you know the language and that you are open up to get to know their culture, you know, and to discover a bit more about them, they'll be more than willing to open up to you and to talk to you. Literally all the taxi drivers that I had a conversation with, they talked on and on and on and on and on about Korea, about their life. And it's also a good way to get recommendations about where to go, you know, what to eat, or spots that maybe people don't know about, and they're gonna recommend them to you. So yeah, it's fun. There was literally one taxi driver that you know, saw that we had bought like this snacks. They're called the choco pie, and they're very popular in Korea. So when he saw that we had this choco pie with us, he started telling us about his days in the army you know, when he was training, and he would tell us, oh, I remember when I was a soldier and we used to eat this all the time, and he would tell us about his days in the army, and it was so much fun, so much fun. Another taxi driver, he gave us recommendations on how to find a husband in Korea. So it was very, very fun. It's super fun. Literally do it. And it's also a confidence boost for you, because it's crazy how Koreans are impressed by your knowledge of Korean. Even if you only know a couple of words or a couple of sentences, they're gonna be so impressed by your Korean. Like literally, one time we went to this market and there was this lady like peeling off, call it apples. She was there like peeling off these apples, and she was minding her own business, you know, she was just there looking down, she wasn't even looking at us. And my friend was like, ask her how much it is, ask her how much it is, because fruit is crazy expensive. Speaking of food, like, don't buy fruit in Korea because it's crazy expensive. But you won't find fruit anywhere because it's super expensive, so pay attention on what you buy. Anyway, so she was there peeling her apples, and my friend said, oh, ask her how much it is, ask her how much it is. So I literally went, 얼마요? 얼마요 means how much it is, but it's literally one word, and that's all I said. I literally only said 얼마요, and I tell you, like, she looked up and she goes, how are you so good? What did you learn? So yeah, so take a taxi, because not only it's a good way to connect with the people, but it's also a great confidence boost for you. Next up we have adventures. For adventures, I only gave myself 200 euros, and the reason why I gave myself only 200 is because I knew that in Korean most of the attractions that you may need the money for were free. I said something stupid. Most of the attractions are free, so you really don't need money for most of the activities that you want to do in Korea. And for the ones that you do need money, they are very cheap, so you really don't need a lot. And guess what? Out of the 200 euros that I gave myself, I only spent 159 euros for a total of 41 euros left. So I was perfect. I was perfect with this one, and we really did a lot. So we went to the N Tower and we spent 20 euros there. We went to Busan and we went to the Sky Capsule, and we paid 23 euros for that. We went to the aquarium and we spent 42 euros for both of us, so 21 each. We went to the karaoke room and we spent 13 euros for 1 hour. We rented the hanboks for the whole day with the air and, you know, all the bits and pieces inside. We only spent a total of 20 euros there. So as you can see, like a hanbok the whole day with hair, 20 euros. Crazy. And then everything else we spent at the arcade rooms. Arcade rooms are so popular in Korea. People go there and have fun, you know, they spend just all their money there, especially when they have a few like cents left. Let me see if I have any to show you. Yeah, like this one. When you have like a few won left and you don't really know how to use them, you go to the arcade room and you spend your money there. And speaking of money, this is what I have left from the trip. I have, these are 13,000 won, which equal to about 10 euros. So this is what I have left, and I'm gonna keep them, store them as a treasure. So anyway, we went to the arcade rooms a lot of times, many times, and we spent a lot of money there, but we got many prizes as well, which I'm gonna show you. And the one that you saw was actually one from the arcade room. But anyway, so yeah, this is for adventures, so 200 euros was perfect. All right, next up we have shopping. Now, when it comes to shopping, I knew that most of my money was gonna go here, but still I gave myself only 570 euros. And even when I originally did the budget, I was wondering if 570 euros was gonna be enough. I knew that it was never gonna be enough, but you know, I was okay with it because I was like, okay, if I need the money from any other category, I can always take it from anywhere else and use it. And that is what I did, because out of the 570 euros that I gave myself, I ended up spending 610. So as you can see, like I did go over budget in this one, and this is together with miscellaneous. Really, this is the only category that I went over in, but really not a lot, because it's only 110 euros difference. So I was very close on this one, and to be honest, I bought everything that I wanted to buy, like anything. I never said myself no in this trip, and that is what makes me happy. The only thing that I wanted to buy and that I didn't buy in the end was a hanbok. I wanted to buy a hanbok for myself to take home as a souvenir, but to be honest, I just decided not to in the end. And it wasn't really because of the price, because it wasn't that expensive. It was about 100-ish euros, but just because I was like, look, okay, let's not exaggerate. Okay, this is too much. This is maybe too much. So I decided not to buy the hanbok in the end, not for me at least. Other than that, I bought everything that I wanted to buy, and that makes me happy. I'm gonna go back to shopping, of course, because I'm gonna show you everything, but in the meantime, let's move to the last category that we have here, which is miscellaneous. And in here, like I said, I put everything that didn't really have a precise spot to go, so like my passport, any ticket that I had to buy, the electronic SIM card, because in Korea you have to buy another SIM card to use, and that was 15 euros. Anytime I withdrew money from the bank, I put it in here. So out of the 200 euros that I have given myself for this category, I ended up spending 255. So I was very, very close on this one as well, but I ended up going over. Now, before I end this part, why did I pay for my friend most of the time other than for myself? It's because originally, like I said, we had 5 hotels, because one of them was in Jeju Island, and we were supposed to go to Jeju after Busan, but we decided not to go. And the reason why we decided not to go was because, well, many different reasons actually, but yeah, in the end we decided not to go, and we decided to go back to Seoul instead and spend some more days there instead. But that meant that we needed another hotel, which we didn't have, of course, at the time, so we had to book another hotel, and my friend booked it for the both of us, so she paid. So essentially, instead of me giving her the money back, what I did was simply pay for her, you know, any expense that we had in common together, and I repaid her this way essentially. So I paid for the taxes for both of us, I paid for food for both of us, and that's pretty much it. Everything else she paid for herself, and in the end she actually ended up owing me 77 euros, so she gave me back 77 euros. Okay, so as you can see, like, I managed to stay within my budget perfectly. I actually have about 500-ish euros, a little less than that, left in my bank account. So is Korea really cheap and budget friendly? Yes, it is. It is. Of course, 2,000 euros is still a lot of money, so I had to work a lot to save this money to spend there, but I'm happy that I did, because really, like I said, I did everything that I wanted to do. I didn't leave out anything, maybe only the nails. I couldn't get my nails done, but that is my fault because I didn't book. So like I was saying, yes, Korea is really, really budget friendly, and to be honest, I don't think I would do anything different when it comes to my budget. Maybe the only thing that I would do different is that I would give myself a little less for food and a bit more for shopping, but that really didn't make much of a difference, to be completely honest with you. I think I was spot on for most of these categories. So yeah, Korea is budget friendly and it's a great place to visit if you want to go. I loved every single corner of Korea. It's crazy, crazy, crazy. The place is beautiful. The people are so much fun and welcoming, friendly, you know. I had such a great experience. I think I'm gonna show you everything in the vlogs. I hope I get to edit them as soon as possible, because I really want to show you everything. It's difficult to put it into words and to describe it, you know, in words, because it's so much that you really only get it if you experience it, you know. But anyway, now that we've gone through the budget, I would say let's move to the haul section, and I'm gonna show you most of the things that I bought while in Korea. So let's go.